And the next topic that I would like to cover with you are reveals and wall sweeps. All right. They're very useful when you want to create joints in panels, or if you want to kind of have a decorative, and I know this is a bad word in architecture, but if you want to have a kind of a decorative extrusion that goes along your wall, be it though vertical or be it though horizontal. So let's start with the most simple thing. Let's start with a sweep. Okay. What I will want you to do for me is go under the architecture tab, and you see where you see wall, hit the drop down menu, and you would see this thing called wall sweep. Hit it, horizontal or vertical. Let's just stick with horizontal for the moment. And there's already something. So I would just place it anywhere. Click and then escape to exit the command. All right. You would see that you have this extrusion. And by the way, you can even give it the material that you want, and we will do this in a second. But let's just look at some of the properties of this sweep. So this sweep, you can actually move it up and down. You actually have these little handlebars so you can kind of shorten it as you wish. You can also have more than one sweep on a wall, so you can have plenty. If I do wall sweep, click, click, it's there. Wall sweeps also obeyed by windows and doors. So if I put a window in here, the wall sweep would stop. So this is something just to keep in mind. And the other thing is that if you want to have several wall sweeps that run on several walls, you don't have to create a bunch of them. You can actually just continue them, okay? I would just create one from scratch, and I'll say wall sweep, and I'll hit this wall, and then this wall, and this wall, and so on and so on. You get the idea. So now I have this continuous sweep. If for whatever reason I created one and I've already dimensioned it and I just don't want to delete it and restart because they've tagged it, what you can do is select it. And here at the top, you can just either add or remove walls. All right. So if I say add, boom, I want to put it on this wall. So now it sits there. Okay. So this is a bug, by the way. This usually doesn't happen. Can we do it yet? Wow, Revit, you are fantastic today. All right. Okay. But if I select it though, and if I say add or remove and click the same wall, it would remove it from there. I swear to God, this is a Revit bug. The other thing you can do with a sweep is modify the returns. So let's say if I click this one, I can actually pull it. Oh, it actually allows me to go just in one direction. That makes sense. But now it's actually not associated with the wall whatsoever. All right. So something to keep in mind. Reveals work in the exact same fashion, okay? So if I go under my architecture tab, wall, drop down menu, and if I hit reveal, I can click and you would see that it will create a reveal for me, all right? If I need it to be on more than one wall, it behaves in the exact same way. I'll select it, add or remove walls, it will do it. Oh, see, now it didn't disappear. So you can create joints like that if you want to, let's say in an aluminum panels, or if you have a particular break between two materials, this is one way for you to do it. Now, by the way, and I'm just going to kind of mention this very quickly right now. So let's say if I just kind of create this sweep here, they behave like any other family in Revit in the sense that you can select them and you can first of all, they're assigned to a level. So if you always need them to be exactly 1 meter from, let's say in this case, level 1, you can do that. You can also edit their type and choose a profile if you have something specific in mind. You can also specify their material, which you can also tag afterwards, or you can schedule. All right. In this particular case, let's just load another profile. And this is being kind of the case for the past few versions, that if you go under the insert tab and you hit load family, those are kind of like the default ones in Revit. So if I go to kind of here and if I find profiles, oh, baseboard. Fantastic. So let's say if I want to use, this baseboard is a little bit more interesting, and I would load it. And then I'll come here and I would edit type, duplicate this and call it baseboard. And I would actually look for the profile that we just downloaded. I think is this one, base 7 inches. Let's choose just something bigger. Okay. And I think it's transparent just because there's no material to it. And I'm going to put something stupid like concrete. Or let's do wood. Let's do any sort of wood, cherry. That works. Please come out here. There you go. So I can actually create wall sweeps like that for my cornices, for my baseboards, for anything I want. And so that means that, first of all, your elevations would look a lot more realistic, you know, straight out of the gate. And your renderings too. You know, it's very rare that in real life you just have a wall hit a floor, you know, like in museums maybe, then even like maybe a reveal would be that transition. But so I can select it, add, remove walls, and just kind of add it and keep on going around. Where is it? Boom. Okay, so let's try something new though. So I can add reveals, I can add sweeps individually, and that's perfectly fine. But what if I have a condition where I have a particular wall, let's say an interior wall, where all of them just have baseboards indiscriminately all around? If I have this type of wall, therefore there's the baseboard, okay? So what I can do is I'm just going to kind of copy this one in the middle, and I'm going to replace it with an interior wall, or any of the generic ones, in a matter of fact. So I'll select this one, and I would make sure that interior, who cares? Okay, there it is. And I'll just kind of drop it down there. Is there an opening there? Yeah, okay. So let's say I have this particular wall, and what I would like to do is I would like to add a baseboard on each side. I can actually build it into the wall. So anytime I draw it, it's part of it. The way I do it is I selected, you guessed it, edit type. And then in section, look at that. I'll edit the structure. I would say sweeps. So see, now it becomes available to you. Sweeps, and it's, you know, I can add as many as I can, or at least I think it's as many as you can. So I would add a new one. I don't want the default profile. I want the base, the big one. And if I hit apply, oh, it's right there. It's already kind of put it in the right place. In material, let's say, yes, cherry works. Apply. And okay, usually changes color. So distance. So this is the distance from the base. So if it's not a baseboard, but if it's something else that needs to sit at a certain distance from the ground, let's say I'll do 200 just for the demonstration. See, it will move up. You can choose if it's on the exterior or interior side. If I say apply, it will move it on the interior. I can have some offsets, so meaning that it doesn't need to be stuck to the wall. So if I, let's say, do 200 here as well, you see it would move it outside. Flip is if the geometry is not oriented in the right way. And I'll just stop at this for now, just to kind of keep it basic. So let's say I need it to be stuck, say apply, and let's say I would choose this layer and I would duplicate it, and then in this case it will be just the exterior. Okay, apply. So now I have two baseboards always. If I say okay, boom, I draw my wall, and it would always have it. Even if I, let's say, delete it and continue it through, you would see that that junction just looks beautiful. And especially if you later on move into renderings, it would just give that extra layer of realism, especially after you apply proper materials in your favorite software of choice. So this is one way you can very quickly do this. You might tell me, Daniel, this is not enough. Obviously, we're missing cornices. All right, so I'm just gonna load it again from here. Let's look for a cornice. There has to be a cornice. Of course, there you go. Cornice to load. I'll hit this wall, edit type, edit, go to the sweeps again. And I'm just going to, you know what, duplicate this twice. Exterior. So I'm just gonna leave, let's say this is going to be the interior, and this would be cornice. There you go, good to go, cornice. And instead of the base, I would just say, give me the top. I would say apply. Maybe I need to flip the geometry. Maybe this is all I need to do. Blah, 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 flip. No, those are the bases, sorry. Flip, apply. Nope. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that means that if I do this, how big is it? 4 3/8. So that means I'm going to do an offset, okay? Offset from the top, or distance from the top. Let's just see if this would, wrong direction. Okay, so this would be with a negative. Okay, apply. Voila, there you go. Copy, paste, boom, Gucci to go. I hit OK, boom. So now I have cornices, right? So if I take these two walls and if I bring them to, so here's the attached top and base, and I'll just set the attached there. Boom. So now my walls would always have cornices if I just kind of extend them to there and then, okay, sure, there. So this is how you can use the sweeps, okay, to build them in. Let's do the same thing, but instead of a sweep, we can use a reveal, all right? And you know what, this is my victim now. I'm just going to use this particular one. So if I select my wall, I would edit the type, edit the structure, and then hit reveals, all right? I would add a new one. In this case, I would just use the default one. And let's say I need it to be always like 1500 from the floor. And I said apply. Okay, this is too much. Reveals. Let's say I would want to offset it 100. A little bit more. If I say 110. Okay, let's just say that. And then I'll actually duplicate it, and then I'll do one on the interior, one on the exterior. So apply. All right, doesn't matter. Proves the point. So see, now there's like this particular detail that's happening into the wall. So again, you can kind of create very interesting geometries within the walls, which are actually part of the family of the wall. So you can do this very, very quickly across the entire project, especially if you have repetitive, I don't know if you're doing a school, classrooms, and there's a particular element that has to be in all of them. If let's say all the corridors have a specific type of baseboard and you want to be able to see it in 3D, but also when you do your, let's say, corridor elevation, classroom elevations, or, you know, hospital room elevations, and you want to be able to tag them extremely quickly, this is it. The other thing, quantifiable, schedulable. They're great. You can actually measure how many linear meters of a particular sweep you have so that you can actually do your cost estimation. All right. And then I'm going to move to the last part of this tutorial, which is how to make parts. Meaning that you see how by having these sweeps here or these reveals, it almost creates different panels along the geometry of the wall. But the thing is that what if I want to have them at different levels for different walls, or I want to be able to change the distances dynamically after I've already created them? This is where make parts comes in, and it's probably one of my favorite tools to use. All right, so let's dig into it.